So anytime I ask you guys what type of videos you would like to see on my channel, inventory management always comes up, and I think it's secretly that you guys want to see if my space is a disaster. If you're a reseller, you know, our homes have so many problem areas. Our dining tables, our guest bedrooms, offices, basements, garages, you name it, usually has inventory exploding all over the place. And my studio space right here, what you don't see in front of me is absolute chaos. And I'm gonna put a little bit of footage on the screen right now. So every time I try to do better, I always end up in the same place. So today I took a second to look around my room and I was just like, why does this keep happening to me? And so I categorized everything in my space and why it was a problem. And I'm hoping that by doing that, I can start 2025 off right, organize my space today, show it to you guys, and maybe how I'm thinking about my clutter will help you guys too. So one of my reselling friends who's just getting into the business asked me, is having a chaotic environment with all your inventory, is that the norm? And I would say 100% it is the norm. Maybe one of you guys is very organized, but I would say it is the norm. And there's so many reasons for why things get out of control. And it's not just because we're all overbuying, although let's be real, the shopping part is the most fun part, but it's also that we're bringing in the wrong things sometimes and we're not storing things in the right places. And then once it just gets to be chaos, we get overwhelmed and we kind of just are like, we'll deal with this at another point. Not today. And so today is my day to deal with it. So I'm gonna talk about all the different categories I have around my studio space and why it's gotten this bad. One thing I should probably mention before I kind of talk about each category of stuff in this space is that I have inventory in this room. I have inventory in my vintage booths, which I have 2 of them. And then I also have a little bit of inventory in my garage. So I usually keep smalls in my studio space. Obviously my booth space is that self-explanatory. And then the stuff that's in my garage is usually like the bigger items, like any sort of stand, stool, or like bulky card catalog, because I do sell those. Okay, so let's talk about each clutter category in my room, and by doing so, I'm hoping it helps you guys kind of reassess and maybe do a clear out and a declutter before the new year so you can start next year off fresh. So looking around the room, I have stuff that needs to be photographed and listed, so that is a category of stuff. I have stuff that I need to ship out that has already sold. I have stuff that I just need to put in storage. Everyone has those pieces. And so those types of pieces that I can't let go, but I can't really use in my current house, just end up staying in this space. And I need to just put them in the attic and keep them out of this room. So the next 2 categories are my 2 biggest categories. And these are the ones that absolutely paralyze me. The stuff that I have no clue what to do with, and project pieces are where I think resellers really get into trouble. So because we feel empowered to sell really anything, and because some of us definitely have a track record of finding something in like the trash and putting it up on Marketplace and it's selling, anytime we see anything, we see the value in it. And while that is good for the secondhand industry, it's bad for clutter in our homes, because every time we look at something, I can't not think like, ooh, how much could I get for that thing? Even though it might not be at all within what I want to do, selling wise, like it's not in my aesthetic, I still want to pick it up because I see value in it. And I'm like, if I don't pick it up, then it's either going in the trash or someone else is going to make money on it. Maybe I should make money on it. And this is something that I think about all the time. And so this is how I end up with no clue piles. So this is like free stuff that I get from friends and family. Like they're gonna like get rid of stuff. Like, do you want it? I'm like, oh, free inventory, but it may not be perfect inventory. And then it just sits. And then it's stuff that's like needs a little bit of help, but it's not quite a project piece. I just need to do a little bit to it. That stuff usually tends to sit. And then the other category being full on project pieces where I need to reupholster it. I need to like refinish the stain on it. I need to paint it. Those projects, I am never going to do them because I don't have the time to do them, but I still manage to accumulate a few of them throughout the year. So there's 2 more categories, one being props and personal items. So I have personal decor pieces in my office that just bring me joy and make my office look nice. Like, you know, my gallery wall is an example of that. This stuff is not for sale. I have a whole shelf of stuff that is mixed inventory, mixed stuff for me. And then I have all my props too that I use anytime I want to do a little styling of the items that I'm bringing in and selling to you guys. I usually like to show them, you know, styled up in like a vignette on top of my dresser. And I need extra items for that. And so I have those prop items in here too. And the last category is one that most of you won't have, and that is items that need to be hauled for YouTube. And that is something that plagues me a lot because I'm not like a normal reseller where I have the items, they come in and I'm doing all the normal reseller stuff. I clean it, price it, and get it listed on Etsy, or it goes into my vintage booth. Usually that's the process. If you're a reseller, that's all you have to do. Well, I have an extra step. When I bring stuff into the home, I have to haul it for YouTube. And so that stuff is in another type of limbo that kind of clutters up the space. And I don't know quite how to solve for that type of problem. Okay, so now that I've talked about all the different types of clutter and things that are in my space, all the categories, I'm gonna get started cleaning this whole room, and I'm gonna take you guys along with me. I'm gonna talk about some of examples of the types of clutter that I have, especially my problem, no clue what to do with pile. I feel like you guys might like to see that. And then we're gonna have a full reveal of my studio space once it's clean and tidy for you. And another main motivator to tackle this project today is because I really wanna decorate my office for Christmas. I have so many cute Christmas decor pieces that are just for this space, and if I don't clean up my office, I can't do that. Okay, so let's get cleaning and organizing. Okay, you guys, this is what you don't see when I'm doing my haul videos in my chair. So when I am sitting right here, this is the beautiful scene that I stare at, and it is insane. It has gotten insane, and I want to decorate my studio for the holidays, and I can't do that when it looks like this. And there's so many things that need to be shipped out and stored, and I need a vacuum and dust, and I just gotta get a handle on this absolute nightmare. So today, this is going to be a cleaning and organizing video, and then I'm going to show you how my studio is supposed to function when I am being a good steward of the space. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go around my room and just sort like for like. So stuff that I need to haul needs to go in one space. The stuff that I need to store goes in another space. The stuff that is too big to stay in here that needs to go in the garage is gonna go into another space. So that's what I'm gonna do first, is kind of organize everything by category. Okay, so what I did right there was I just organized everything that has sold within the last few days. I have a lot I gotta ship out, a lot of big stuff, and so I'm actually going to record a what sold right now, and then I'm going to put that in my video that you will have already seen when this one goes live, and then I'll be able to take all that stuff out and put it in the garage on my shipping table, and it will be out of my life forever. So this is another thing that drives me crazy sometimes about being a YouTuber and doing what sold videos, is this stuff was actually downstairs. I remembered I gotta show it to you in the what sold footage I'm about to film. So I had to go down, bring it back up, just to bring it back down again. So I know these are problems only for YouTubers, but just adds to the headache of trying to keep this space clean. Okay, so now that that footage has been filmed, I can take everything and finally get it out of this room and off to its future owners. And while I'm doing that, while I'm shipping, I'm gonna actually take some footage of how I pack up something like this. Because another thing that you guys are always asking is for a tutorial on how to ship out bulky things that are not quite furniture, but definitely different than shipping out something like this. So I'm actually gonna film my process since I'm gonna be doing it this week. Same thing goes with large scale art and pieces like this that have mirrors. I'll talk a little bit about how I ship those pieces too. I mean, you guys should have a general idea of how I'm doing the artwork because it's kind of the same process as when I bring souvenirs over from Europe. So I did talk about that in one of my videos that I did for my European sourcing trip. And I also have another shipping tutorial that's linked down below that is really helpful for kind of the small stuff. And I talk a little bit about mirrors in there. But I know you guys probably want another refresher and a new perspective on it. So I will be filming that for you guys too this week. Okay, so I've dealt with all the souls that are in my room right now. So those are now out of my room, ready to ship. I brought in this green tote right there. That is all of my Christmas decor items, so I put that up on top of my dresser. Now I'm gonna go around the room and try to get stuff out of here like this. Gloves. My winter gloves don't belong in here. Neither does this bag of snacks. Does not belong in here. It belongs in the pantry downstairs. So I'm gonna go around the room and find those types of pieces that just really need to get out of this space. Another piece that just needs to go where it's supposed to live. This amazing beaded duster jacket that you guys saw me get like earlier this year, and it's been living in my studio space since I did that haul. So dumb. It needs to be in my closet. So again, going downstairs. So actually I just realized you might want to see it on. Although it doesn't look great with the leopard, but it's so incredibly cool. Amazing. I hope to have like an event to wear this to one day. So this Christmas tree does not belong in here. This is holiday stuff for the rest of my house, not for this room. This entire box of Christmas decor for the rest of my house does not belong in this room as well. I don't know how this stuff happens. Okay, so I'm realizing there's one more category we did not talk about, and that is tags. Frankly, tags of any kind. There's always an overabundance of tags in any given state, whether it's my tags that I have written, messed up on, or taken off something that's sold, tags from Goodwill, the thrift stores, tags are everywhere. Anytime I photograph something, I peel the tag off and I stick it to my dresser. And then I just let it accumulate, and then one day I throw them away. Not a great strategy, but I did a reel on this, and many people have told me that's the way they take off their tags too. They just kind of stick them all over the place, so I'm not alone. Also found in this room, 1,000,000 receipts from Goodwill. So next step is to tackle my island. I need to get more Christmas decor out of here, and like project stuff and art supplies. Like I need to just put these away for right now. I probably won't finish this project. This is that Christmas tree I was telling you guys about. It's just not happening. I don't have the right paints for it, and I'm using these like ancient acrylic paints, and they're just not great. Anyways, this stuff has to go. It cannot live on top of here. Like, what are these? Why are these here? Like, what is the string doing here? Anyways, I'm going to clear this whole surface, and then I can get some of this stuff on the ground that needs to be listed up here, front and center on my to-do list. Okay, so I have cleared the entire table. And so now I'm going to set all the stuff that I have in the room that needs to get listed right now that I plan to sell that doesn't need to be like rehabbed or cleaned or anything. I'm just going to get all that stuff up on the table to see how much I need to get done and photograph over the next couple days. So here are some of the things I gotta get listed. A lot of Florentine pieces I've been sitting on. It's this painted gold Italian style decor pieces, and I wanted to make a bundle of these because you guys said you're interested in them. And then this art piece, you may remember, I got to get this listed, and I totally forgot I need to clean these. So once they are clean, I'll get them listed. So these two pieces I need to get cleaned up maybe today if I have time, but these I'm actually going to bring to my booth space, so I'm kind of setting these aside too. So this is the type of thing that I get really angry at myself about. So I bought all these ornaments, and there were just a couple in here I wanted for myself, and now I have this whole bag of stuff that I'm like, I don't feel like they're really good enough necessarily to sell individually, so I may donate them back, but I'm just like, why did I do this to myself for just a couple of ornaments? It's like I have 2 bags of stuff I just don't know how to deal with. Okay, you guys, progress has been made. It's the next morning. Oh yeah, you can see me. There's my bathroom in the mirror. So this is stuff I need to haul for you guys. This is my problem pile. Up here is stuff that needs to be listed and stuff that's going to my booth today. And this is my bar, which I envision working out with it again because I used to do bar exercises years ago. And yeah, I got to figure out, am I putting this in here or not? I decided to clear out this area so maybe I could put my bar assembled over here. And I still got to figure out what to do with my printer. This stuff is going to my booth today. And this is my problem pile right here. Oh my goodness. It's just stuff like this lampshade I want to keep, so I may put it in the attic. This, I don't know if you guys remember this. I got this at an estate sale. I thought it was brass, found out it was silver, did a whole Instagram reel on it because it's actually extremely valuable. And I need to put it up on like eBay, and I just don't have an account because that would be the best place to sell it. And so yeah, it could be worth like $1,000. I'm not even joking. I think I paid like less than 20 for it. And then here's some more problem pieces. Now this stool is not really a problem. It just has ugly fabric, so I need to cover it, but that's a project. And then these two things I bought, which I'm still like excited about, but as soon as you put a candle in this, it tips over and the candle falls out. So not a clue how to mitigate that without gluing it down so it doesn't swing. So if you guys have one of these, how does it work? Let me know. And then I have this, which I thought was a candle holder, but has a hole all the way through and it's thick. So I don't know what this is for either. And then this is something that will sell really well once I get the right connectors on the back, because this like wire nightmare scenario, no, not ideal for someone buying it, because it's going to tip over like this when you put something heavy on these hooks. And then these I love, but they are that lacquered brass. When I was trying to shine them up, the lacquer was flaking away, and so they're a bit of a nightmare as well. So this is my pile of stuff. Oh, oh my God, let me show you this. So it's meant to be this way, landscape, and the person put the mounting stuff this way. Like, why? So I gotta redo that. So this is my problem pile of stuff I need to like do something with. I need to like repair and paint all the gold back on this trash can. You know, just this is the stuff I don't need. This next year, I'm hoping that these type of scenarios don't happen, and I'm trying to be a lot better about picking up stuff that needs more than the average amount of care to get them listed. So here's some stuff going in storage. So this Lotus lamp, which I actually got at the thrift store, you guys, which is, I can't believe I actually scored that at the thrift store. It doesn't really go with my home, so I'm putting this in storage for future Andi, because all 3 lights are completely intact and it works. Usually these go missing and just the hardware's left over. That's pretty common with these because these break over time because they're basically all glass, but I have a fully intact one. So this one's going in storage. This will go into storage temporarily. This is a mirror I'm planning to use in my powder room when we redo it this year. And then these frames, I don't know if I ever showed you. This would have been a while ago. I have been debating for years, basically, if I should sell them or not. Now, these are prints inside, but the frames are incredible, and they were only $12 each. So again, doesn't really go with my decor in my 70s home, but maybe future Andi will have a place for them. So these are also going to go in the attic in case one day this fits something and this fits something. These don't go together, so I'm not sure what future I'm planning. I guess we'll see which one comes to fruition. But yeah, I just got to get these out of here. They've all been living against this wall, and it just doesn't make sense to have this stuff live against the wall. And this piece right here is going to go on my table after the holiday. It's kind of a catch-all, so I decided to keep that. So that will not live there soon. Okay, you guys, I can't believe it. I have organized this room, and it feels incredible to be able to walk around and not worry about stepping on something or knocking things over. So I've gotten a lot of the stuff off the floor. I have organized my workstation a little bit, so my printer now lives under my desk rather than right there in the middle of the floor. I have managed to get a lot of the stuff from this area put away in storage, and then I want to eventually put my bar up so I can actually exercise. And then I have, this is just like overflow inventory in bins. And then I also started to put more stuff on these shelves. And one of the things I'd like to do at some point is to film a few videos sitting at this island that I have. And so I probably will rearrange the stuff over here to make it look a little bit more neat. Right now it's kind of a free-for-all of stuff in no particular order and not styled. And then I have some of my own like collections and stuff that I use for when I do my styling, like these books. And then these are, my tape measure lives in here and some other like styling props, and you'll recognize some of these styling props. So it's not perfect, but it is it's far and away better than it was. Far and away better. I can actually walk around the room, and I'm so excited. Okay, so it's a couple days later, and I wanted to give some closing thoughts about my studio space and staying organized in the new year. And one is just to acknowledge the fact that this is going to get messy in here again. And this guy right here looking at me, he's like, yeah, it is. You guys, she's a hot mess half the time. And this guy, this giraffe with the side eye is not wrong, because it's really hard to stay organized. Even though I try to put systems in place and I try to process things as quickly as I can, it's just the nature of the business, because we're bringing in so many things, and the volume we're bringing in, it can be unpredictable. Sometimes you'll have a really good sourcing day, and so you're bringing in a lot of stuff, and then it takes time to process it. And then of course there's other things in life that get in the way. So just giving myself grace, knowing that is the nature of the business. It's not necessarily like a failing on my part, because the rest of my house is fairly organized. It's just this business is prone to disorganization. And so I want to make you guys feel better about it and make myself feel better about it, that's just kind of part of the game. So that being said, there are a few things next year that I'm going to try to stick to. One is absolutely no lamps unless they are turnkey ready to go. They have to have a shade. They have to have the wiring. Everything has to be fine, because every time I buy a lamp, which I try not to buy them that often, but every time I do, it ends up being a project. And so no lamps to me. No lamps. Another thing is I need to not buy any project pieces. Those are the things that kind of accumulate in my studio space. And if I like misfire and buy something that needs to be repaired, like I just need to get rid of it immediately rather than put it in a project pile or pretend like I'm going to do it at any point. It just needs to come in. It needs to be either returned to the thrift store or redonated back, because I just hold on to this stuff. Sometimes I feel like out of guilt, like, oh, maybe I'll do it one day, or, oh, I feel guilty. I just bought it. I just don't know. It goes into this limbo state. And I feel like that stuff is one of the piles that just grows. And so I just need to just forgive myself for a mistake and just let it go. Let it go. Because those are the things that you can somewhat control. Like good inventory coming in and that getting out of hand. I mean, that's a kind of a good problem to have. But the stuff that needs TLC, not a good problem to have. And I can kind of avoid that. And sometimes the loss is so small that I should not feel guilty, and I shouldn't let it clutter up my life and my mind. So anyways, no project pieces, no lamps, no furniture. I don't buy a lot of furniture, but when I do, I usually regret it. And so, and that's other pieces that kind of will not accumulate in my studio space, but they'll go in my garage. And that will prevent me from bringing some of the stuff that's in here that could go into my garage safely out of sight until it sells. I don't have space for that because I have these like random furniture pieces that even though I have booth spaces I can bring them to, I often don't want to use the real estate in those booths with big pieces because my furniture pieces don't sell as fast as the small. So that's the other thing. No furniture next year. And the final thing I'm going to be thinking about next year in terms of staying organized and not buying kind of the wrong stuff, because the wrong stuff really is the stuff that makes for a lot of disorganization, as we've talked about. It's just making sure the item is something I want to actually process and ship. Shipping stuff, selling online is the biggest part of my business. Sure, I can bring stuff to my vintage booth, but certain things are only going to sell well online, or they will only sell well at the price point I want to sell them at online. So it doesn't make sense to actually pick it up from my vintage booth. It's something that is really Etsy specific. And so in those circumstances, sometimes I'll pick up something that just is a nightmare to ship. And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? It requires extra care or time, or I have to build a box. And so those types of things, I'll be excited about them in the moment. I'll bring them home. And then when I get them home, I realize, oh my God, if this sells, I have to pack it up and ship it. And then I'm just like, I don't want to sell it then. And then it sits. So I have those types of items in my studio space sometimes too. So that's another like category stuff that I'm really trying to avoid next year, and something I'm going to be thinking about as I'm sourcing. Okay, so those are all my thoughts. Hopefully you find it helpful. Or you might be like, wow, she's disorganized and there's no hope for her ever. But if you're an organized reseller and you have a whole like system and a whole process on how to keep control over this stuff, let me know down below, because I would love to hear about it. And I'm sure a lot of you who are resellers watching this video would too. Okay, so that is everything I have to share. So thank you so much for watching today, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Take care.